Hello everyone, welcome back to another late war battle report. Again, hope everyone's staying safe. Obviously being in Wales at the moment of filming this, we have another 2 weeks of lockdown at least. Probably extend a bit longer just to keep everyone safe. So, we have another isolation battle report, this time with a gentleman called Lucas, which is someone I was introduced to by Tom. So, nice to see what kind of tactics he will use. And he will be attacking with some armoured rifles from the American D-Day book, and the mission is Killing Ground. So let's have a look what Lucas is bringing. He is bringing a veteran armoured rifle company. So he has a HQ consisting of 2 teams and a half-track, and he has 2 full platoons of armoured infantry. So that is 5 bazookas, 6 rifle teams, 2 LMGs and a mortar, and they have 5 half-tracks with them, 2 of which are 50 cals. Also in this formation, you should be able to see at the back, are 3 mortar half-tracks, and he also has 4 dismounted heavy machine guns. So all veteran, so a bit harder to hit than the regular ones. In support, we have 4 M10 tank destroyers, 5 76mm veteran Shermans, and some serious artillery in the form of 6 priests. Now in total that is 108 points, so Lucas is using the Desert Veterans, which is a 1 point upgrade for the M10s, which makes them veterans, so that should be good for their special rule for seeking out enemy tanks. So that is what the Americans are attacking with. Now let's have a look what I'm defending with. So this is my defending British list. So yes, a bit of a blue on blue game today, so we're just calling this some practice before the D-Day landings. So as you can see from the title of the video, I'm trying out one of the new command cards that Battlefront have released. So I've got it in front of me so I don't make a mess of that. I am using the 1st Czechoslovak Independent Armoured Brigade Group Armoured Squadron. So when I saw these being released, I thought as soon as I saw it I wanted to give them a go, because it is a Cromwell recce, but you lose the scout, but you basically save a point off each each troop of Cromwells, so that brings them down to 16 points instead of 17. So you lose scout, but you gain a better blitz called the Reichler Doctrine. Hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. So that's a blitz on a 3+, so I think that's a win. And the other thing is you get 3 Fireflies in their own troop with this formation. So again, win. So this is what I've taken. So this is my Czech Armoured Squadron. My HQ is 3 tanks. So one of them is a 75mm Cromwell and 2 of them are the close support variants. And then I have 2 troops of 3 Cromwells, and then at the back you can see my Firefly troop. And again, you also get another point off for this formation because the card has -1. I will put a picture of this card at the end of this little clip. Hopefully I'll remember to do it as well. So also in my force is a motor company. Didn't fancy using the Czech motor company because I do like the deadly rule with the British infantry. So I have my HQ of 2 teams, and then I have 3 full platoons of motor infantry. So they're quite small, only 4 Bren gun teams, a Piat, a mortar, and that's it. With these are 4 big mortars, 4 6-pounders, 4 Vickers carriers, 4 Wasps, and 3 universal carriers. So there we go, that is my force. I am defending, so having a little think about what will go in an ambush. Probably put the 6-pounders in ambush and start with the Sherman Fireflies and have the Cromwells come in. Main reason why I'm putting the 6-pounders in ambush rather than the Fireflies is if these guys are out in the open at the start of the game, it's kind of a no-brainer where the bulk of his artillery will be going. So there we go. So I'll put that command card up for the Armoured Squadron, and I'll do it for the motor company as well, so if anyone hasn't seen it. And it should be on the Battlefront Instagram as well, that's where I found it, and seems very interesting, can't wait to try them. So let's have a look at the map for the day. So the table is set up. We have a little town on this side, and then a road going across, bare farmland, hills and woodland over here. This section here is where the Americans will be attacking from, so they have this little box by here. And then on each flank is my deployment zone, and all the way over here. So this is where Lucas has decided to put his objectives, one on the road here, and another one on the road by there. So in my minefields, I've put one on the opening to this hedge by here, and then the other three are clustered by there. My ranged in markers on this farmhouse, and Lucas has basically put in every clump of terrain where I could possibly put stuff, and that's where we are, and in this house as well. So there we go. Now I get to deploy, and I'm going to be putting my 6-pounders in ambush. I'm fully deployed now. I've put the Fireflies hidden behind this rock over here, hopefully get some flanking shots on any of the tanks coming across. I have a platoon of infantry by here, with the mortars behind and the wasps. In the centre I have my HQ and another platoon of infantry, and there's another platoon of infantry inside this building, and it's just about contesting this objective. Over here there's the universal carriers and the heavy machine gun carriers. So I've got the 6-pounders in ambush, so they can come on at any point. And now we'll have a look where Lucas is going to deploy. So here we have deployment. We have a dismounted armoured rifle platoon here with the half tracks, and the M10s are in this field here, and in the distance you can hear my washing machine. The priests here are occupying these fields, and then the remainder of the artillery is back here, and then we have some mounted up platoons on the HQ with the 76mm Shermans right behind, and then the heavy machine guns ready to advance. So that is deployment. Lucas has first turn, good luck to you, and I will take a thumbnail and then we're good to start. So the armoured rifle platoon over here has done a terrain dash. Unfortunately no follow me worked for them this time, so they're stuck by here. The M10s remain gone to ground, as Lucas wants them to be more of a reaction. Over here the follow me's did work, so all of them just pushed up further forward, and the Shermans are right behind. So that is movement, and no doubt some artillery is going to be wrecking some stuff. So due to poor visibility, the priests have just gone to ground because the hills are blocking their sight, so they'll just hold where they are for now. The armoured mortars did range in by here on the third attempt, so unfortunately didn't hit anything in the building. So going into my turn, I have no motivations. I do have a ambush unit that I'm going to keep in ambush for this turn. So I have 1 dice for reserves, and I get a 3, so no reserves this turn, so I'm going into my movement. So with movement, the wasps have moved up, staying outside the minefield, so I think I can get some of these guys. The Sherman Fireflies have moved into this position, so I can get a couple of these. These guys are too deep into the woods. Oh, actually, it might be within 6, so I may be able to see them, but guys in the open are my targets. My motor platoon and HQ have moved into this church, and my other motor platoon have moved into this building. UCs have gone to here. Tried to do a blitz with the MG carriers, but they decided they don't want to do anything. So, time to do some shooting. So over here, some Piats and rifle teams have just bailed out some half-tracks. So I'll just push this because we're going to turn 2 now. Artillery, my mortars wiped out 2 of the HMGs, so they're going to be last standing. The flamethrowers were only in range of a bazooka team, and basically he died, to summarise that. And Lucas also lost the mortar and the 2 LMGs to the fire of the Fireflies. So quite a few casualties over here so far, and that is it for my turn. So going into the starting step, Lucas, you have 2 bailed out half tracks.
Yep. So it'll be 5 plus re-rolling, because my formation commander's right there, isn't he?
Yep.
So first half track, I roll 2 dice. He gets back in, double 5.
Nice.
And then the Q's half track itself, no, that stays failed.
Okay, and then you have a pin down heavy machine gun team.
Yeah, so confident. So we do unpin, but all the way past the last stand, I guess.
Okay, and then you got your pinned rifle platoon.
Yeah, so pinned rifle team rolled a 2, so they are staying pinned.
Okay, and then your last stand.
Yeah, 2 as well, so they failed.
Okay, I do think they're within 6 inches of your formation commander though.
Ah!
Yes, they are.
If they are, that's a 4, so they'll be sticking around.
Okay, right, so they're good, so they're unpinned and they're staying around. So we're going into American movement. So as you would expect when you have a pinned unit out in the open, that you will fail a dig-in test, and it happens pretty much every time. So yeah, they're stuck there. The half tracks though have moved up to cover them. M10s have still remained stationary. I've got a few more infantry teams to place here. Okay, so they're out. The HQ's staying in, as Lucas said, protected by his metal box. One of the Shermans have moved around, and they can, with the elevation of this building, shoot at my infantry. And that is all we did for movement, so we're going into shooting. So for shooting, we started with a smoke barrage right in front of the church. So while these guys are getting smoked out, the Shermans have pinned down this platoon over here, and the platoon has also been pinned down for the fire from the half tracks and the infantry, just enough used then to get that. The priests have ranged in on the wasps, got 1 hit and 1 bail, and then what we had then was a bazooka was just in range and blew up the last wasp. So that was it for the shooting, and I'm guessing we're going to have an assault. Assault is over. We've both taken quite a few casualties. I'm down to last standing with my motor platoon, and I've lost my 2 IC. The Americans did fail the counterattack after their second bout, and unfortunately the formation commander got caught and died, but he did pass over his responsibilities to the unit leader, so he is still has a formation commander, so those rerolls are handy, and the Americans have lost a few bases as well. But we have 2 pinned down units for myself and a pinned down platoon here, and obviously the rifle team is pinned. So going into my startup step, I have no bailed out tanks, but I do have some pinned down units, so they rally on a 5 because they're war weary. So first up, the motor platoon in the church gets a 3, but I get a reroll and I get a 5, so they unpin. Formation commander gets a 2, but I get a reroll, get a 1, so no good. And then the guys in the building across the road get a 6, so they unpin. And then I have my last stand, I get a 6, so they're happy. And then I have 2 dice for reserves, and I get a 6. So I'm going to bring in a platoon of Cromwells, and I come in with a 2. So that is my right hand side, no, my left hand side. That's where they're coming from. Okay, so I will get into my movement. My Cromwells have moved on, so they might as well go for some more infantry in the open. Fireflies have remained still, and then we also have the Wasps have moved up just outside the minefield, but hopefully get some more flamethrowers on this lot. HQ's remaining still where he is, he's pretty happy. And then we also have another motor platoon. I moved one team in, one's in the crater, and then the rest are here. The UCs have moved into the middle of the street, and these guys did do a successful blitz, so only 2 of them can see into this lot, but it should be enough to cause them a bit of trouble. And as you can guess, still no ambush from me. So, shooting for the British. In my shooting, with a mixture of flamethrowers and lots of MGs, whittled down a few more of these, and they are pinned again. Over here, managed to kill the formation commander who he swapped to, and all the infantry teams here. So not last standing yet because there's 3 teams left, but the HMGs are last standing, and that is it. That's where we left off. And the mortars did range in again, but they made up for their really successful turn last time. So going into turn 3, Lucas has a fair few, no bailed out tanks, but you have a pinned down platoon in the woods.
Yep, right, a lot of them. Oh, roll 3.
So yeah, typical. So they're still pinned, and then you have the remnants of first platoon that are pinned.
Yep, roll 3.
And then what we're going into is your last stand on the heavy machine guns. Okay, so they're hanging around, so that is where we're left for this turn. So I get a thumbnail, and then we'll go into movement. M10s have done a fair few cross checks. 2 of them are on the edge of the woods here, going to deal with the Fireflies, and this one's going to have a pop at the Cromwells. These guys did dig in, good for them. Everything else has kind of remained stationary over here, and 3 Sherman 76s have moved over, and 2 are here to pick on these universal carriers. They might as well use their 50 cals to make it more interesting, but we'll see. And that is it for movement, so now we're going to go into shooting. It's a bit of a wider shot. So unfortunately the M10 scored 0 hits on the Fireflies, and got a glancing hit on the, oh no, it was a penetrating hit but failed to blow up, so bad by here. Did get a bail on the Wasps, courtesy of a bazooka, so again not going to ground with them. No more kills in these buildings, but everything again is pinned down, and these horrible 76mm Shermans have picked on the universal carriers, killing one and bailing another. So probably get some carriers running away this turn, but that's kind of what I thought would happen anyway. So going into my motivation, I have a bailed out universal carrier on a 3, so he doesn't get back in. A Wasp gets a 3, so doesn't get back in. A Cromwell gets a 5, he does get back in, and that is all the bailed out. So the pinned down units now, the guys in this building get a 2, so they don't unpin. The guys in the church rally, and the formation commander also rallies. So now we go on to the last stands. So the universal carriers get a 6, and the Wasps get a 2, so they are going.
Oh, phew.
And I get 3 dice for reserves, and I get a 6, a 2 and a 1, so another unit is coming in. Another unit of Cromwell's, and he comes in from the right hand side, so I get a 5, and that's my movement, sorry, my startup step. So now we're going into movement. My movement, my Fireflies are remaining still since I can see 2 of the M10s from where they are, so pretty happy with that. I did the blitz move with these new Czech tanks, but I got a 4, so it would have been the same anyway. As you can see, there's a Wasp shape hole by here. That remaining 1 team here is just gone to ground. Universal carrier might as well just stay where he is. HMGs have moved here, and this is where my reserve Cromwells. So enough cover here to stop the 76ers just getting a clear shot, so they're going to have to move to do something. So there we go, that's what we're looking at for this last turn. Not last turn, this turn, so now we're going into shooting. So, shooting wise over here, I have killed 3 M10s, 2 with the Fireflies and 1 with the Cromwells. Did try to do a blitz move, but these Czechs are celebrating their accomplishments. Killed a bazooka team from this platoon, so they're last standing as well. All my rifle teams over here have just gone to ground, so that's okay with me. So going into turn 4, Lucas has a fair few pin tests and last stand tests. So first of all, the guys in the woods.
Yep. They finally on pin.
Yes. The guys in the farmhouse.
No, we're on 3.
Okay, so now we are on last stand town. So the heavy machine guns, if you want to do them first.
They're still in it, got 4.
And then your remaining platoon.
And they get 5, so they're good too.
Oh, so not looking too bad, but they still remain pinned. So now we're going into movement and there's no more motivations. The infantry are not dug in anymore because they've gone inside their half tracks and have driven over here, and in an attempt to get outside of any anti-tank weapons, a follow me was done but was failed. The tanks, the 76mm Shermans, having a bit of a dilemma, facing their front armour towards the Cromwells that will appear at some point. And their MGs will fire at the Universal Carriers, and one of them has just squeezed through to take out one of the UCs with the HMGs. So that is it, and now we're going into shooting. Everything that happened over this side. So these bullies have got rid of their Universal Carriers, and I've lost 2 more teams from that other platoon of Motor Company. So again pinned, and the formation commander pinned, but that remainder there is still around. So going into my turn 4, I have some motivations. So I have no bailed out tanks, but I do have some pinned down infantry. So the guys in the building across the road are pinned. The formation commander is got a cocked dice, and he's unpinned on a 5. But then I have my last stand, and they pass on a 5. So I am bringing in my ambush this turn, and I will have my reserves come in anyway because I will have so many dice. But where do they come on from? I get a 5, so it's again the right hand side. So I will bring everything in. So this is where the ambush is coming from, right behind the 76mm Shermans. My HQ has come on here, and the other Cromwells have moved around to support him. Fireflies have moved to take some shots onto the guy on the hill, and 2 Cromwells have moved here. Unfortunately, this guy failed his cross check, so he is stuck there. So that is me, and now we're going into the shooting step again. With my Cromwells, I only got 1 hit and a bail in the half tracks, and these Czech Fireflies who did so well against the M10s missed 3 1s. Need to stop drinking that vodka, I think. Over here though, much better. I killed the 76mm Sherman that was lurking in this alleyway, and I killed 2 more 76mm Shermans and bailed the other 2, so 2 motivations required here. And finally, after so many shots, managed to pin down the HMGs. So Lucas, you have got a fair few motivations. So you have 2 bailed out Shermans, so the one on the road.
Yeah. It's a 4, so he's back in.
And the one in the field.
It's a 3, so he's back in. Protect his ammo.
Okay, so no last stand for them. You have a bailed out half track.
It's a 1, so he's staying bailed.
Okay, so now over to the pin down units. So you have a HMG team that is pinned. Oh no, sorry, you have a bailed out mortar half track.
Alright, I'll take that roll just well done, so I roll a 1 for that, so he stays bailed.
Okay, so the pin down units, the heavy machine guns.
They unpin.
Okay.
Mercy for all.
Okay, and then the remainder of that platoon.
Yep. They failed to unpin.
Okay, so now we're on to the last stand tests. So the M10, we didn't forget about this last turn, we rolled it off camera when we remembered him.
Yep. He gets a 3, so he's off.
Right, bye bye M10. Then you have a last stand on the heavy machine guns.
Yep. Pass again.
And the remainder of the platoon.
They pass 2 of 5.
Oh, nice. So they're just clinging in there. So that is all the motivations. We are on turn 5. So here we go into American movement. Right, so far with movement, the infantry have got out their half track on the other side of the hill to stay away from the fireflies, and these guys are going to try and mow down the infantry. And that was it over there. This guy is obviously left behind. And the Shermans have put their hells the right way this time. So one is looking down at the 6-pounders, and the other one is going to fire over his dead comrade at the Cromwells. So there we go. So now we're going into shooting, and this is turn 5. So far, no kills from the infantry firing onto my infantry. No more kills in the church. No more kills in this building here. One 6-pounder did get killed by the priests, and they are pinned as well. And a successful shoot and scoot happened here, so they pull back. They did manage to bail my HQ tank though, and that is pretty much what happened this turn. So starting up, I have a pinned Cromwell. That rolls a 6, so he is back in. And next is all my pinned down infantry. So the guys in the building across the road get a 2, so they stay pinned. The 6-pounders get a 3, so they stay pinned. And the unit last standing in here gets a 6, so they stay still around. And that is all my motivations. I have nothing left to come back on, so I'm straight into my movement for turn 5. So in my movement, this Cromwell finally got out of the woods and has joined up with the rest of them. Fireflies are remaining still. Pretty much all the infantry are staying where they are. These Cromwells have moved to here, and the HQ has moved around. And heavy machine guns have stayed where they are also. So that is it for my movement, and now we're going into some shooting again. My shooting has got rid of 2 more half tracks and 2 more bales, and I managed to successfully shoot and scoot these fireflies to push them closer to the infantry to cover any possible assaults. HMGs opened up on the mortar half tracks, got nothing, so I shoot and scooted them out. 6-pounders had a go, didn't hit anything, and the mortars did hit a team, so they pinned again, but no more kills. So that is it. So we're going into turn 6, and now we have 2 bailed out half tracks, both of them 50 cals.
Yep, 5, double 1.
Alright, so they're both stuck, and now we have a pinned down platoon of infantry in the farmhouse.
They unpin, get 5.
And the HMGs.
They're all 1.
Okay, so they stay pinned. And now it's off to the last. Oh no, you have a bailed out half track again, the mortar half track.
Yep. Gets a 6, he's back in.
Nice. Now we're on to the last stand test. So we have the platoon in the building.
They roll a 3, they're out of there.
And also the heavy machine gun.
The half tracks go 2, yeah. And the HMGs. HMGs fell 2.
Oh, so they finally gone. And also those half tracks go with them. So that is it. But that is it for the motivations. So Lucas is good to move. So I'll get a thumbnail. The infantry have got out of their half tracks and they're moving over this way. So they are within 8 inches of the objective, so the game can't just end yet. And the one remaining half track is here. The 76mm Shermans, what's left of them, have moved into position to take on my HQ, and that is it for the movement. So now we're going into shooting. So over here, no hits and no kills. I lost 2 more 6-pounders courtesy of the priests. No more kills here, and unfortunately the 76mm Shermans missed everything. And Lucas now is just looking up to see if he can assault with his dismounted half-track. We did have an assault, the half-track. I saved my Piat for last, and luckily that was the only thing that did do anything, and it bailed it. So that is it. So we're now going into my turn 6. So what do I have I have a lot of stuff to unpin. So I have the guys in this building over here that don't unpin, the 6-pounders that don't unpin, and now I got last stands. The guys in the church get a 1, but I get a reroll. Nope, they gone. And the 6-pounders get a 4, so they stick around. And now I'm going into my movement. So my Cromwells did some cross checks. One of them has failed, as you can see. I don't think I had much room anyway, so they're going to go try get rid of these, and my MMG carriers will fire. These Cromwells just make their way over to try and punish these priests. They've done a lot of damage. I want to repay that. And my infantry are moved up to assault, and the Shermans here are going to lay down some cover fire. So here we go, some shooting. So I didn't get any hits on the 76mm Shermans, and that was with Cromwells, and 6-pounders got nothing. I did kill and bail half-tracks with the MMG carriers, and I killed a priest with the Cromwells, and pretty much all the bazookas are dead from the rifle team, and there's just 2 teams left as I make my way to assault them, which I will. And they can't stop me because they only have 2 shots. The assault is over. Killed both teams. I did take 1 hit going in, but no kill. So that is formation broken and off the objective. So that is game. I did take quite a few casualties. I lost wasps. So I think it's a minor victory by the sound of it. Really enjoyed. Nice playing Lucas. Nice to see 6 priests down. Don't often see that. I would like to try it myself. But yeah, so hope you enjoyed the game. Still plenty more content coming up. Mid-war, Lord of the Rings, and hopefully when all the lockdown is over, some of the Age of Ice and Fire tabletop game. So, hope you enjoyed and everyone stay safe.